history that goes along with this. Remember when David was being chased by Saul, and he didn't have as many men as Saul, but Saul was determined that he was going to kill him. And basically, Saul was over on this side of a hill, and there was a ravine, and he was with his men, and there was a cave, and for the night, Saul went in the inner recesses of the cave to sleep, and he was guarded with all his men and everything. And we know David is in the area. During the night, David sneaks over, and instead of killing Saul, he cuts the edge of his garment, okay? And he took this tzitzit, because everyone would know what King Saul's looked like. And so the next day, when David is on the other side of the hill, the mountain with this ravine, and he kind of calls out to Saul, and Saul's basically telling him how much he's going to kill him and all that, and David basically says, Saul, look at your garment. I could have killed you, but I tried to respect your authority. But look, we all know that this is a symbol of your authority. One of yours is missing. So it was a symbol of authority also. The last thing is it represented the priestly purity or power, the reminder of personal holiness. So what happened to this woman with an issue of blood? Why did he call her a daughter, and why did she touch his fringe? Well, if you will read some of the Jewish literature of old, you'll find that Jews don't tell Christians everything that's written in the Bible, because we haven't learned to communicate with Jews. We have one mission many times when we talk with the Jewish person, and it's not to get to know them. It's to put a little hash mark on our spiritual belt that we led a Jew to the Lord. You know what? That's not going to work with that group of people. Develop a friendship with them. Ask them questions about their faith and the scriptures, and you'll find that if there's a trust built, they'll share things that will actually build your faith up that you don't know is available. So this literature that I'm talking about, the Talmud, indicates that during Jesus' time, during the first century, there was a scripture in Zechariah that talks about that there's healing in his wings. There are songs of that. That English word wings is kind of, once again, one of them qually-whacked translations. I want you to look at the bottom of this tallit and how the fringe, or how the seamless garment, how it's tied so it won't unravel in the fringe. Many believe that that is what's being referred to as wings. Okay? All right? And that there would be healing in his wings. Now, why is that important in connection with Jesus? Well, the reason why it's important with Jesus is, of all the people that day, this woman actually knew who he was. Because the belief was, you know how you'll know the true Messiah? There'll be healing in his wings. And what was it that Jesus said in the midst of everybody pressing in on him? Who touched me? Power has gone out of me. She touched one of the corners, one of the hems, one of the fringe, one of the tzitzit. We don't know which one because it's not important. What's important is power flew out. Okay? Also, she touched his authority. Also, she connected with his status. Also, she connected with his purity. Also, she knew his true identity. Because the true Messiah will have healing in his wings. And because of that male-dominated society, because she was unclean, because she was an outcast, because she had spent her whole living trying to get healed, and the scriptures, Luke tells us, no doctor could do anything. This is a woman that for 12 years has carried a burden on her own shoulders. We don't even hear about her family. If you can't stop bleeding, guess what? Your husband is going to get rid of you because you're going to render him unclean, and all the neighbors are going to talk about, why are you still with that woman? Don't you know that she's just filthy and unclean, and we don't want her in our neighborhood. And ladies, she cannot come to the well to get the water when you come. And people are talking about her when she walks down the street, and most of the time when she walks down the street, she has her head down because she's embarrassed to make eye contact with people because they're always saying something about her behind her back and to her face and pointing at her, just like today when we see someone with a disability. We want to look because we haven't seen anything like that. Those people, they absorb this. I was at a Walgreens yesterday, and there's a lady that I noticed in the store that works there that probably has had some form of cancer, and you can tell she's had various surgeries, and this part of her chin and her jawline, it's not natural, and it's easily noticeable. And I watch her as she walks, and she always has her head cocked down, trying to cover that part of her illness, and won't make eye contact. Even when she's there to serve you and you say, where is this and that, she'll talk to you like this because people look at her. Can you imagine living like this woman for 12 years and all your friends have deserted you? Probably your family's deserted you. You don't even need to even think about going near the temple because you are not welcome at the place of worship. You are not welcome at the place of prayer because you have something wrong with you. But this woman, somehow in her heart, she knew who he really was. Everyone else was there for the fish and bread. Everyone there else may have been there for the mob psychology, the excitement of the crowd. See what's going to happen today. What's going to be the exciting news of the day. This woman wasn't interested in where he was going. This woman wasn't interested in what those other people were interested in. She said in her heart softly, if I can just touch his tzitzit, I will be healed. And the scripture says as soon as she did that, she was healed instantly, and the blood stopped flowing. And she got caught red-handed, so to speak, and everybody's looking at her. And so she shared with them why she did what she did. Now, the Bible doesn't tell us that part of the story, exactly what she said, but Jesus lets us know what she said because he turns to her and he says, daughter, your faith has made you whole. This wasn't a relative of Jesus, folks. Why did he say that? Well, see, even today, but especially in biblical times, if you were my wife or my daughter, you could touch my tallit. But if you weren't my family, my daughter or my wife, if you were someone else's wife or daughter, can't touch this. Not allowed. So not only is this woman unclean, she's touching a man that she's not related to. This woman just doesn't understand the rules of the day.